Hello YouTube, welcome back to another game of Starcraft 2. This is going to be a brand new best of 5 series between Morrow and Bly, a Protoss versus Zerg matchup. Nice to see a green color here as well, just to note right off the bat. And let's introduce our players very quickly. Now, first thing is first, I want to quickly have a quick question of the series. And I've asked this one before, but what is your favorite Starcraft expansion? That includes both Starcraft 1, Brood War, Wings of Liberty, Heart of Swarm, and of course Legacy of the Void. Which one has been your favorite so far? Leave your comment in the comment section below, and I will be repeating some of these, by the way, just because of course I don't have a huge amount of subscribers and it is growing very rapidly right now, so I want to hear everyone's opinion about that. Now, on the top left hand side, Prion Terraces, we've got Morrow spawning as the green Protoss. I almost said blue because I'm so used to it at this point, and he's part of Team Property. And he's also hailing to us from Sweden. Now his opponent, Acer's Bly, spawning as the red Zerg, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows him at this point, but he is from Ukraine, and he's on Team Acer. Now it looks like Bly has opted to go for a very quick sneaky expansion here, going on the gold. It's actually something quite common with Zerg players these days, but I have to mention that because it is up on the gold, it's still a very risky place to put it. Generally speaking, Zerg players actually do this against Protoss more than Terran, simply because Protoss is not a very aggressive race. Now, just to note, there's a bit of variation in build here. Something we don't actually see very often the way players build it is they actually putting down the pylon and first building down here, which of course is the gateway. But generally, they always start off here, despite the fact that they do expand here first, which is a little bit strange. I mean, it does make sense to block off here. It's just the fact that the choke is, of course, bigger. It looks like we have the transfer of drones. Actually, oh my god, he's actually doing a double expansion here. So he put down the hatchery at the gold, then the spawning pool, and then the second hatchery as well. So obviously, trying to build up his economy quite massively here. Bly definitely being a little bit ballsy here. And we'll see if that pays off a little bit later. So Cybernetics Core is on the way down. There's 2 gases. Now this one is not fully saturated, but very close to it, which kind of says to me he very well might go for like the robotics facility or something. I wouldn't expect to see a Stargate just yet, simply because he's gone for 2 gateways. I would more likely expect to see 2 adepts coming out of this right now. And let's see if that is going to be the case. Yes, it is indeed. Does have a Zealot in place defending against this. Now this Zealot's going to be in a lot of trouble. Oh my god, he let some Zerglings sneak through. This is not a good position for him at all. He's going to start to lose a few drones here as well. Zealot now getting taken out, and 2 Zerglings have managed to sneak in. Now he's lost also 1 probe off the top of that as well. But these Adepts, once they pop in here, they should be able to hold off against these Zerglings. Now, is he going to be able to kill 1 or 2 probes here? No, he's not. These Zerglings are very weak at this point, and it looks like he's just interested in continuing the aggression here. He knows he can fight off the Zergling anywhere that it engages. Oh, he does manage to sneak 1 extra probe kill. So these Zerglings paying for themselves and actually doing quite well to manage those, to get those inside. And here we go. Now we're going to start to do a bit of damage towards these drones. The Queen, of course, very slow to actually fight these off. And going to potentially take out quite a few drones here as well. So 4 taken out so far. And now going to move on away. It does look like it's kind of transfer. He probably will let that go. Oh, was that a misclick? He's actually cancelled one of them. Oh, sorry, one of them got destroyed. So that's actually fine. That explains it. He's sacrificing this one at the cost of keeping these ones alive. But at the same time, all they're doing is attacking the hatchery, which I have to say is not the best use of those Adepts. Robotics facilities on the way, as I said. Probably not going to see any starport here just yet, but on the other hand, we do have 2 more gases coming down, so very likely could see it shortly after that. And the Adept aggression continues on here. Let's have a quick look. 8 drones so far taken out. And what is this? This is a Spore Crawler. Now that's probably just to prevent the worker from getting killed. He's probably going to end up cancelling it shortly after. And there we go, transferring them on into the main base. Getting surrounded by all those drones as well. So this is very good here for Morrow. He's doing so much harassment and preventing the mining for so long. So as you can see here, 46 to 33 workers. But the army supply is slightly favouring Acer's Bly. not that I would worry about it too much. I mean, Zerg can build their armies very quickly. So as long as Morrow gets enough units to defend off against any sort of aggression from Zerglings, he should be fine. Ooh, that was actually a bad time to throw down the Nexus. Just about getting surrounded, and I think this is going to get denied pretty much immediately. Unless he... Nope, he does cancel it. That was too risky. He could have very easily lost that, and I think that these amount of Zerglings would have definitely brought that down in just a few seconds. So there we go. We do have Disruptors on the way as well. Double Stargate being put down. So obviously at this point he thinks that he's far enough ahead to continue with the harassment, but honestly I think that if he would have continued on with the ground assaults, he would have definitely been in a better position right now. Then again, Metabolic Boost is complete, so would be a little bit difficult to deal with a bunch of Zerglings like that, unless of course he popped out a bunch of Adepts. Now, just one thing to note, he's got only Adept and a Disruptor on the field right now. But on the Zerg side, if you look here, there's a Spire on the way. So once these Mutalisks pop up, it's going to be a very difficult position for Morrow to be in. So just to note the amount of gas that Bly has. Typically, he's got, what, 6 gases at the moment, which typically from 0 to full on a Spire, this means that the workers will mine about 1100 gas for that, which means about 10 to 11 Mutalisks. Now I didn't quite see how much exactly gas he had at that point, but of course he is spending a bit left and right as well. So gonna have to just estimate that there will probably be about 900 gas once that completes, maybe even 800. But 8 or 9 Mutalisks is definitely not a laughing matter. As you can see, Phoenix is already in the air. Now I wonder, did Morrow kind of predict that, or did he just, you know, randomly decide to go for Phoenixes? He's definitely not seen. Oh, this could be a huge pop here, and there we go. Managing to snipe out the Queen and a few Zerglings as well with that. Now Stalkers are not Stalkers, Hydralisks are on the way. And Corruptors as well, so that's interesting. He's not actually opting to go for Mutalisks at all, instead getting 8 Corruptors, which is actually surprisingly dangerous. I mean, Phoenixes are in the air, but that means Corruptors will be able to fight them straight on. And of course, if he decides to go for the Hive, which he is indeed doing, he could very well go for Broodlords after that. So Bly, funny enough, is fully teching Zergs is not something you see every day. It's not a very common sight. You generally see Zergs getting stuck on about tier 2 tech up until very late into the game. Whereas here, he's opted to go for a Hive at just about 8 minutes as well. So 8 minutes 30 is roughly when that Hive is going to complete. Meaning 8 minutes 30 is where he can get tier 3 tech. Now these Disruptors have done some nice damage so far. Gonna back them up. Probably join them up with the main army as well. And there we go, Corruptors in the air. And just to note, Corruptors can destroy buildings as well, not just flying units. Ooh, nice. Sniping off that Mothership core before it manages to back off. Now, the ability that I was talking about is basically Corruptors have this bile ability, which they basically channel onto a building. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage by itself, but when you've got about 6 or 7 Corruptors just like this, there's actually 7 there, then at that point, that damage does very quickly stack. There you go, all Phoenixes now have been destroyed, so at this point, I honestly don't know if he wants to make more. Yeah, looks like he's going for Void Rays. Wow, that's actually a lot. There's 5 total Disruptors on the field as well, so that's kind of going to be quite significant. The only thing I have to say is that if Bly is going for Mutalisks with that Greater Spire, which, I mean, he would have no other reason to get it. If he's going for Mutalisks with that, or sorry, Broodlords, then those Disruptors are not going to do a whole lot for him. So definitely going to be a bit of a tense moment for Morrow once he realizes what exactly is going on. But then again, he kind of would have seen this coming. I mean, a bunch of Corruptors in the air. Ooh, nice dodge here with the Zerglings. So a bunch of Corruptors in the air would generally not really mean that he's only going anti-air, unless of course there was mass air from our Protoss player. But honestly, that's not the case. He's only had a few Phoenixes. It's going to be very tough to to counter that once these Broodlords pop, which they are doing just now. Now, just to note, there's Vipers as well, which recently have been nerfed, but it's actually, this game is actually from before the nerf. It's from the Dreamhack Leipzig, which I'm sure you've seen in either the description or title at this point. But the damage from the parasitic bomb is still 90 rather than 60. Not that I thought that the parasitic bomb needed a nerf anyways, to be honest. I think that it was just fine. Now, the amount of expansions from Bly is actually starting to favour him quite nicely. He's got 5 expansions in total. He is possibly going to take another expansion here shortly. Although I don't think he needs it just yet. Let's see what he's going to do here. He has a huge army. I mean, 110 supply against 83. And he does have these menacing Zerglings in the back, just checking what's going on. Ooh, they're actually going to spot these Zealots here. I really wonder why they're actually standing here, to be honest. Now, the Broodlords have not yet been revealed. Just a Spire has been seen, but no Greater Spire. But I'm assuming that Morrow is kind of predicting this would happen. He does have Tempests on the way. And he does have level 2 upgrades, I believe. That's level 2 upgrades with both attack and air units. And there we go. Tempest starting to do damage. Oh my god, the yoink going down. One Tempest gets taken out pretty much straight away. Second one also about to drop. So close. It barely has any health left. 17, and the Voider gets yoinked as well. I believe this one is probably going to drop if he's not careful. Yep, there's no saving it at this point. Disruption's coming down, or rather Purification Novas is what they're called. And the Broodlord is just wreaking havoc right now. Huge amounts of damage. Disruptor's starting to drop very quickly as well. Broodlord's doing more and more damage. The Void Rays, of course, staying back. They don't want to get yoinked yet again. And there we go. One yoink goes down. And gets taken out pretty much immediately. Second Tempest starting to drop in health as well. Gets taken out. And I think at this point, Acer's Bly got this game in. It's 108 versus 33 armor supply. And there we go. GG's called. Acer's Bly takes game number 1. And that is game number 1 between Bly and Morrow. I hope you have enjoyed this. Of course, leave it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see any more videos. And I will leave you with our question of the day, which I've asked before, but what is your favorite Starcraft expansion of all time? Leave your comment in the comment section below. And if you want to explain, of course, why, let me know. See you guys next time. Good luck. That is going to be game number 2 next time. See you guys there.